right there is our rendition, On the Dock's rendition of Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, originally done by Mr. Otis Redding. His record right there is behind me. I'm a Southern boy, Memphis boy, and we grew up around the river, Dale, and that's the cottonwood trees, a river tree. And I grew up around the river, and I know it's a Georgia song, but in Memphis, we just hear it as the Delta. And so I love that song. The song by Otis was 2 minutes and 36 seconds long. If you know the story about the song, Otis's beautiful song, he recorded it, laid it down, and then he whistled the verse, the famous verse where he whistles. And then the guy got done and said, "Are you done?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "What was the whistle?" He says, "That was the second verse. I haven't written it yet." So he whistled it. And then they went to a gig in Michigan, flown, and their plane died in a plane crash coming back. So they never laid down the second verse. What they had was the whistle. He was very young. The whole band was killed. And that song went to number one immediately. And that's how the deal done. Oh, Beth, are you on there?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's coming. This is the first time we've used. Bring Mother Beth on. Let her give her a piece on that.
I think I'm.
Yo, Studio B. First time on the set, Studio B. Mother Beth in Studio B. What are you holding on to? You got a pillow over there?
Pillow to hide my fat belly.
I thought you were hiding your tater chips. Studio B, thank you to our sponsors that helped us expand our studio. We're over in Studio B and A. We're going to have another guest join us in a minute. And we're going to have an expanded set here. It's going to be great. But Sitting on the Dock became, so we got it and we wanted to get it past RCA and past the YouTube people. So we had a couple guys come in and do our own version of it. And they put, the one guy had never heard of Otis Redding, never heard the song. So the keyboard player is from Griffith, Dustin Griffith, laid down the keys, and Ben and Lucas did it, and it was so different that when we sent it to them, they said, "Well, we're cool with that," and they gave us clearance to play it. So awesome. On the Dock starts off with that beautiful version, our On the Dock version, On the Dock around this beautiful cottonwood tree. So there's the history of that story, and the reason it's up on the wall is my favorite song because we don't know what verse 2 is, and when I get to heaven, it's backstory, Dale. I want to know what verse 2 is. God's Bible says it gives you the desires of your heart. One of the desires of my heart is to hear Otis Redding sing that second verse. So I'm going to ask God.
And what if he whistles it?
Well, that's going to be interesting because I know that one. I'm going to be interested to know if he ever got that second verse.
You're hoping that he wrote it on
I'm
the
hoping
plane.
he wrote it on the plane or on the way to glory.
Yeah.
One or the other. If I get up there and it's just another whistle verse, I'm going to be really disappointed. I don't think I'll reject heaven though.
Maybe he'll let you help write the second verse.
I would like that.
The whistle goes with it, though.
I would like that.
It's a fishing whistle.
I would like that. All right, we're on the dock.org every Tuesday and Thursday. We've spent a lot of time on nothing here, but I want to get the history of this thing down. On the dock.org, go find it every Tuesday and Thursday. Info at on the dock.org. She's got it up there. That's our email. You can find out more questions and answers. We're all about conversations. Propel yourself off this table, off your couch, out of your car, into the deep. We want you doing the bigger things of God, but hang around with us for a minute and get inspired. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes is how you can listen to us, and we have also those other Play networks. Also, you can go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Telegram, and just shout out. Tell us about things. Tell other people about things. Communicate things, and spread the news about this show. When you get there, hit subscribe, like, notify, tell others, and tell people you need to learn more about As We Are, this band, and get them the links and all that stuff. Help us get the word out. Be a propellant of the gospel here. Go to Patreon, become a partner, sponsor of the show. Patreon has 4 levels of partnership, 3 levels of sponsorship. Find On the Dock at Patreon, and you can find out how you can be a part of the show. One of our people, a part of this show, helped us expand the studio to 6 mics so we can see Mother Beth way over there. You see Mother Beth way over there? Hi, Mother Beth. Good to have you over there. So we're in studio. Also, SL&T. Go to SL&T. That's one of the people we're selling stuff for this year. They found us. SLNT.com. Promo code OTD. Faraday Bags. Reclaim your right to disconnect. We have our own landing page at SLNT.com/discount /OTD. Buy stuff. Reclaim your right to disconnect. It helps us make money. We make money. Dale, you need one of these things. You got to get one of these things or they're going to steal your car.
A Faraday bag?
A Faraday bag. Faraday. See that key fob? That little. Oh, hang on. Let me put the key fob up here. I did it. Key fob guard. Beth's got a wonderful Dodge Challenger 392 key fob. Everybody wants to steal her car. She puts it in there. They can't steal her car because they copy those key fobs, and then they don't have to talk to you. They can come up by your porch, outside your house, and they can read your key fob from outside, clone it, steal your car, never come in your house. That's how they're doing it right now. You can get other things. It protects your privacy, keeps people from being able to pirate your Visa cards and your all those little things today. Check that out. Again, go to info at onthedock.org to find out more about that. You can email her that way or onthedock.org. I got in studio, got my co-host here for this show. We were waiting on Dan Pyles to come in from Take Action Today, Director of Programming. Pastor Dan, how you doing today?
Doing wonderful. Thankful to be here.
Got you in the side chair. Finally got rid of Mother Beth out of that chair. She's kicking on me, beating on me. And all
I got a
this stuff.
question, Pastor
Yeah.
Troy. How it's been a minute since I've been here. So how is the hashtag Bring Back Donna
Okay,
working?
listen, to be honest with you, she doesn't have a microphone or a camera, and the person that gave us the money over 2 months to help us do this was responding to the hashtag Bring Donna Back, but we expanded it into the second studio. So when we go to 6 mics, we have to take her back off. So we do have her back on normally.
Okay.
But because of today's and the nature of things, and because Dale's so complex, and we need a lot of people here to be co-hosts with him, and this is a serious subject, and we happen to have you and John here, and we can do an expanded show in a minute, and we're gonna do that for one of the episodes. We took Donna back off the camera and off the microphone. So hashtag Bring Donna Back. We'll need a 7th microphone and camera. So we'll figure out how to do that. But we got Beth over here temporarily. She's filling the seat
Do
for
you
John
have
Steve.
to keep doing that?
Yeah, Mother
Stop.
Beth. Yeah. All right, Mother Beth. Donna Kranuski's here. Let me show her dressage, her beautiful dressage right there. There she is. She cannot be seen on camera because hashtag we didn't bring Donna back yet. We're going to do it. We have had her back, though. She'll be back for the episode on Thursday. On Thursday, she'll be back.
Good
Watch
deal.
the next episode. So we got everybody here in studio. We're on Taking It to the Streets. The Subculture is what we're talking about from Mount Vernon, Illinois. We're in part 2 of that. Go back and watch part 1 and get the whole overview, the 10,000-foot overview, find out more about their ministry. We'll give a little bit of a summary here, and we're going to get into where the superpowers to serve Jesus came from here in the backstory part 2. We've done this backstory on all. We do the overview in the part 2 here in all of our Taking It to the Streets. We're going to find out about what's behind these great ministries. Again, let me summarize this. Subculture, mtv.org. Hey, it's not MTV as in the news movies channel. We both thought it was. Me and Donna did. It's MTV as in Mount Vernon. We don't use the MTV here. Do you use MTV? West Frankfurt's closer to Mount Vernon. Do y'all say MTV when you mean you're going to Mount Vernon?
If I'm writing it on paper, I'll
do
put
that?
MTV because I just don't feel like writing the whole thing.
We
out.
don't do that down here. We're so far away from you. We think MTV's a channel. So West Frankfurt's kind of migrating towards you.
So we're like Africa to you.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yes.
basically, because every time I go to Africa, I drive through Mount Vernon. And what makes you a more human place is you finally got a Starbucks. So I have 2 options of Starbucks here and there now. So on addition. So, but MTV, yeah, you're kind of like well, I mean, come on. I mean, you named your ministry the Subculture. I mean, that's very cool. Subculture 618 on Facebook, and you can email them at thesubculture@gmail.com. Hey, we showed this, and I'll introduce these guys again, but the Subculture is a community outreach based in Mount Vernon, providing a space where people can come as they are without judgment, and they can better themselves. Their goal is to build relationships with people and bring the gospel of Jesus Christ to everyone. We're going to get into that whole gospel of Jesus Christ and how that became the center of Dale and Steve's life. They're doing a lot of things. They're doing community showers, food banks, hygiene products, clothing distribution, meal prep. The Subculture is working with people coming out of jail time, needing places to serve, and all kinds of people looking for an opportunity to get ready to go. They've got the resale shop. Go listen to this in part 1. Bookstore, distribution center. They take donations of stuff through their thrift store. There's also a way for you to go give donations. We didn't cover that in the last episode. We'll make sure we do that in this one. They do music, worship, service outreaches, all kinds of things. And there's lots of ways in which you can volunteer to help them. We'll cover this better at the end of this show. So just give us a summary again. Dale, we got Dale with us, Dale Vaughn. He's the founder, director, and CEO of the Subculture. And with him in his right hand and with a forearm the size of my entire body, Steve Hammond from High Point Ministries, Vienna. Steve, welcome to On the Dock again. Dale, welcome to On the Dock. Dale, give us again a summary, just the quick summary of what you're doing with the Subculture. Bring Dan up to speed.
So we do a resale shop, and through that resale shop, we have the ability to fund a building where we can do community showers. We have a food bank. We can cook meals for people. We've tried taking people in. We talked about that last show. We've tried to take people in. We're not really there yet, but we've tried. So that's our thing is reconcile, train, send. So
very cool. Yeah.
it's
Also, not only is Dale doing the ministry there, he's also a part of the band As We Are. You guys toured for a long time. You said years, right?
Yeah.
Took a break, and now you're back doing shows again. But not only doing shows, you're facilitating actually festival events.
Yes, we're actually running stages of festivals now. So.
At the end of the previous episode, we gave you a Connect piece from one of his songs he just wrote in the September release. Was this around that September release?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to pop that on here real quick because Dan needs to get a flavor for this music. Dan, I don't know if you can handle this, but get ready for Addiction. A 30-second cut. Here we go.
With buds
Very cool. And you're doing that music. You wrote that song. And addiction. Explain again what that was about.
So let me clarify. Eli, the guy on the left, is my guitarist. He writes the music. The guy on the right is Caden. He's my son. He writes the drums. They bring me an idea, and I put lyrics to it.
So team approach everything. Right. And this song is not about your addiction or somebody else's addiction. It's about dealing with somebody else that's lost to addiction.
Exactly.
And the pain you feel.
Right. Or it doesn't have to just be addiction. It can be mental health. I mean, it can be any of those things that you reach out to people, pour into them, and try to help them the best you can, and they end up, wasn't enough, and they give out on you, and then you feel a responsibility for that person. You know what I mean?
He's talking about the guilt that comes when
Absolutely.
you how many people? Dan works with nothing but recovery, and you can give everything to somebody, and then and it beats them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's almost like they lost their race, but you also lose a piece of you in that.
And what you get from that is something that we call in the clinical world called compassion fatigue. Where we've worked with individuals and you've literally gave them your all, and then they go out and one bad mess up, and then their life is gone. That's and right. Then so you spend that time, what could I, what should I, coulda, shoulda, woulda. And what happens is that ends up bleeding onto the next individual. I'm trying to take care of in one or two ways. Either I'm hovering and suffocating that individual, or I'm going into it with the approach as, well, they're not going to listen to me anyway, so I don't give them all that I have. So, man, that is such a powerful topic that you're singing there. Powerful voice, too. And that is not heavy for me at all. I mean, I grew up on Manson and Slipknot.
You can take this
stuff. Oh yeah,
you can handle this. You're gonna love this.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Sunday morning worship.
Sunday morning worship.
Yeah, it's your typical Sunday morning.
Right.
On the way to church, Slipknot.
Right.
Dan, what do you think if we do a Christian heavy metal festival for Jesus out here, and we raise resources to help reach people for Jesus Christ through a shelter, and we use this kind of music method to do it? Will you still work with me?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, good.
I'll be up in the front.
Yeah.
I'll be up in the front.
You know who you're going to be with? You'll be right next to my granddaughter. Look at her.
Yes.
Look at her at the front of that concert. And I want to show you this. That's her watching Grey Rubber. This is the band she's watching. Yeah, they're something else. I got to figure out how to get them here someday. Just because people here, I think all people want to see it.
Not as heavy, but
that's a good
I would
picture in that red
I
one.
would probably have my Motley Crue shirt on. Not as heavy, but I'd bring back the '80s, so I'd have my crew. I'd have my crew shirt on.
Hopefully, you would leave with an As We Are shirt. So
there we go.
Yes, there
right
you go.
here. Check it out here.
Yes,
this is pretty radical. You guys playing here and stuff. All right, well, here's what we need to know in this show. This show, the part 2, is about the backstory. So let's start with Steve. Because Steve didn't get to talk a lot the first episode. He just had the sidekick. So Steve's with High Point Ministries in Vienna. You're part of the ministry team here that he talked about, this collective. And it's so cool how y'all have formed this collective. You had a release, and now God's taking you to the next level. Steve, how did you get connected with this Joker? Number one, I mean, God's put you together, and man, fantastic. But yet you've got your own ministry going on too. Tell us about the connection in your ministry.
I met Dale at a prayer meeting one night. He was there marching around praying, and my wife walked up to him and said, "You need to come to our church." And so we reached out to Dale, and he came down, I think 3 or 4 nights, and we were going through a situation at a church we were at, and we were just asking God for direction. And we were in our kitchen sitting there eating pizza and enjoying the fellowship together, and
you broke the chair.
Yeah, a chair broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He break anything he wants.
Because my forearms.
What are we going to do about forearms? What are we going to do about it? I mean,
and no one said a word.
No, they didn't.
No, they all laughed.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to the church, and the Spirit of God fell there in the church. And then a couple weeks later, we went up to Dale's place up there in Mount Vernon, and we were praying, and we were talking about prayer and all this, and there was a connection. And ever since then, God's just like put us together. We support and back Dale and Brittany and everything they do. And Dale's got to be careful because he tells me, let's do a festival. I'm like, let's go.
Let's go do it. You're an enabler.
Yeah.
Well, you and I discussed at lunch that he's an enabler.
Yeah.
He enables
He
you.
was... he said something about all these clothes that he needed to bring to me. I'm like, why don't you do a clothing drive?
Good idea.
He called me like 2 days later. We're doing a clothing drive. I'm like,
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You know.
We're going for it.
Now let me say that. This is a chance to throw this in. We'll get backstory, but I forgot really at the last episode to say you can bring clothing, you can bring your stuff. You got an estate, you got something. You bring it or call them at the Subculture. They'll take that off your hand. They'll get it in their facility. They'll get it into their store, and they'll turn that money into the ministry and change lives.
Right.
So get a hold of them. Now, if you just don't want to do that, you're too lazy to do that. You don't want to give them your stuff. You can always give them cash.
we take $1 million checks.
$1 million checks cash all the time.
That's
in
the
Mount
only
Vernon.
way you can write a check.
Donate link on their website. You can go to their website. I checked it out. The Subculture MTV, Mount Vernon, not the music channel, .org/donate. You can give right there. Or you can Venmo. They got a Venmo OCR I put up on the screen there. Check that out. Cash App OCR. I got to do that too. I don't have those. Venmo or Cash App OCR. So you can give that way. The other thing we didn't mention in the other show is volunteers. You can take volunteers. People can come. I saw this in the lower right-hand corner. You have volunteers that can come in and help you at the store. They can help you at events,
Yes.
I assume. So if people want to go serve, whether it's a regular service and you're in the Mount Vernon area or whether you want to go serve at a special event, reach out to them.
For example, audio feed starts in 9 days.
I'm putting that up right now.
Something.
Audio Feed
Is that
Music
right?
Festival, Urbana, Illinois,
Well-
July 7th.
How far are we away from that?
Not far. I mean, like 7, 8, 9, 10
Right.
days.
So
Yeah.
that starts on like this day. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to be there 2 days earlier, setting up.
So you can
tents
use some
and-
roadies and some teams that
Right.
go out. Yeah.
Because we don't just show up and have a bunch.
What
of
do you
people,
get
so-
if you come roadie with you? Do you get a bottle of water? Do you get like a White Castle sandwich? Do you
sweaty underwear?
sweaty underwear?
And a big thank you.
Exactly what I got at KCF. I was hot and sweaty, had a great time, and I am thankful for that memory. It was a powerful time.
yeah.
That's where we met these
Yeah.
guys at KCF. He just came from doing KCF. They not only did they play their band on the stage, they produced one of the whole stages at the festival, and it was incredible.
Can I share my favorite moment from that?
Yeah,
though?
please.
I mean, the band was cool. It was like one of the best shows.
There's the lineup in the lower right-hand corner.
The building was full and people were coming in as we were playing, which is really cool. But my favorite part was that morning, Saturday morning, there was a worship band of somebody I had worked with 10 years ago. And she has a beautiful voice, very powerful voice. And she always had to live in the shadow of somebody. She never was brave enough, which is ironic because their name is Brave Worship now. She was never brave enough to come out from under the shadow. So she started worshiping that morning, which funneled the move of the Spirit. And we went up and I took the microphone and God moved in a big way. And that shed became a church and the barricade became an altar and the altar filled up.
Isn't that
And
incredible?
we were able to go down and just pray for people.
This is a machine shed, and it became
Yeah.
the church.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it when God moves. People sometimes think it's got to happen at the church. It does not have to happen at
Right.
the church. A lot of
This
times
is
it
at
won't.
this is at a Christian festival, by the way, just letting
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, at a Christian festival. I love that. Gosh, it was good. We had a good time. We had a good time up there. You got to check out KCF next year. It's that second week of usually June. Get on your calendar. Go to their Facebook, KCF, Kingdom Come Festival, Kokomo, Indiana. Go find out about it, how you can be a part. Start watching out for that. But there's other places you're playing. You're playing at Urbana. You're going up to play Life Fest. Is that right?
Yes.
In Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So you're there.
And then so that goes to 712.
Yep.
I'm doing a solo. The guy goes, when you're solo, you're not really as we are. You're more like as I am. So
Just as I have.
I took that name and put it with myself for whenever I go by myself. So as I am is going to South Dakota.
That's funny.
July 20th.
Very cool.
And
And
there,
people
so-
can go to As We Are Facebook page, find out where
Yeah.
you're going, and check on that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, how did you become As You Am?
As you am.
Tell us, how did the Lord get a hold of you? What's
my
your
gosh,
backstory?
dude.
Where did God intersect you into doing? How did you get into? How did you come to faith, and then how did that faith become expressed to
So
you through music?
I'm one of those people that were raised in church.
Wow.
And everything bad happened there, if that makes sense. Everything bad that made me hate church happened in church. I shouldn't say everything. It started whenever I was younger. I had some things that happened whenever I was a child. Some sexual stuff that messed me up pretty bad. So, you're working through that. Then through through the church, I met my first wife, and that was a train wreck. I won't go into all the details of it, but it all evolved from the church. So I had every reason in the world to absolutely hate the church.
Wow.
So when that relationship ended, I cut my ties with the church completely. I had no desire to go. I went into Mr. Specialist counselor over here. I went into a deep depression, and it's really interesting because it seemed like every time I get up, I get smacked down again.
Wow.
My band, the first band I had was stolen from me. The second band I was in, we had to change our name, and the new band that we formed out of that started taking off, and the guys kind of turned on me. As We Are started, and then that band tried to get stolen from me. I mean, it's just like every time I would start something, it was just bam, bam, bam.
Wow.
So it's been one. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you start getting on a good mindset, and then something else would happen, and it'd knock you down, and you'd have to fight through that. So it's been this big conglomeration of fighting through things my whole life, and I would say just in the last couple years has my life really begun to take meaning for me, and I'm kind of like, man, I'm 50 years old, and it's taken me to this point to actually feel like, hey, I'm actually doing something that God has spoken over me from years past. I'm actually starting to walk into these things, right? And so I would say through all that disgusting junk I had to go through, God took that disgusting junk, made me the person I am to get me ready for the things I'm getting ready to do.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
No, yeah.
No, it's perfect.
Just kind of repack you, so to speak.
Right.
You hear that a lot about, I see people, especially coming out of a lot of rough stuff, and they will just, every time, it's like almost like they're a volleyball being served up and smacked back down,
Yeah.
smack back down, smack back down. It just seems like sometimes you'll get that lift for God, and then that devil comes in and says, and spikes it back,
Right.
And there's that battle between the old man and the new man,
Sure.
and that.
And this, even back during COVID, I was asked to come back to a church and lead worship, so I did. And it was going really well. And then they called me down from the front of the church. And in front of everybody, it just made everything really awkward. So again, I decide I'm going to go do this again. And then, bam! So
Yeah,
I'm like,
the church kind of gets you.
I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. That's why I said I feel like what we're doing is a basket to catch all the people that bounce off these walls.
A basket for the shunned and people looking to belong was a quote from the first episode, Dan. That he sees that as his role in ministry. How many people get shunned from the church? And we're going to talk about this a lot in our roundtable, is that there's this whole world of unchurched and dischurched, and the church calls, the church will say, we're us and those people, them. And really, the people out there go, the church are those people, them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And when you were talking, bro, I couldn't help but think of like the story of Joseph, how he was prophesied over all this for a long time. What's up?
You were asking about my backstory. Can I share a little bit of my back? Hold that thought.
Yep.
Everywhere I go, that comes up.
The Joseph comes.
That Joseph
Yeah,
comes
the
up.
Joseph
So you
comes
get
up.
it
And
right on.
I've ever since I was a young person, have you ever heard of Full Gospel Businessmen?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even know if that exists anymore, but
I don't know, but I know guys all from it.
They used to have me come and do worship, and I went.
Women's Aglow was the women's version.
They had me do that too, and I went
Yeah.
for the buffet. That's why I went, because
at Western,
I-
at Sizzling.
I really wasn't into it too much for anything other than the
They met
buffet.
at Bonanza or Ponderosa or Western Sizzling down
Because
here.
you're going to play for all the old folks, right? So,
yeah.
but I was.
We have stories about that.
I was in worship at a Full Gospel, and I'm not. I bet I was 23, okay, and I'm worshiping, and I had two words. One, whenever I do worship, I'll just strum, And somebody said I was David playing for Saul and calming the demons just with my strings. That was one. The other one, I was in the middle of worship, and this dude in the back of the building stands up, and he goes, "The kings of the earth shall seek thee out. Yeah. If you stay humble as in the days of Joseph, they shall seek you out."
Wow.
This is when I was like 23. Tell a 23-year-old kid that.
Right.
Right? What the heck does that mean, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that was the first time I heard that, and I was on the way to see my wife in Pennsylvania before she was my wife, and I'm driving down the road, and this pastor asked me to join a round table on a platform, so I did, and I was driving, and they were going around the round table, and they're like, "What's the Lord telling you?" You know, and all these people are talking about money, blah, 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 right? I'm like, whatever, that's every prophet. They get to this lady, "Miss Regina, what is God telling you?" God is saying all the Josephs need to get their distribution centers in order.
Wow.
And I had two words: one, that I had a distribution center, and two, that I was related to the Joseph calling.
That's really cool.
So I immediately pulled my car off to see if I could find this lady, and she disappeared.
Wow.
So he asked me to join the platform the next morning, and I stayed in a hotel till my wife was ready for me, and I go pick her up. And something happened, and she had to do something, so I was able to join the call that morning. I wasn't going to be able to, but I was able to. And so they come around, and they go, "Miss Regina, what is the Lord telling you?" I'm like, I wonder if it's the same lady. All I'm getting is the Josephs need to get their distribution centers in order again. And I went, and I got her, and I messaged her, and she said, "You need to call me as soon as possible." I said, "Okay." I call her, and I told her the story, and she goes, "That's because you're the Joseph. You're the only one that responded to what I said." And she went through, and she goes, "And God told me that whoever responded to this phone call, Isaiah 53 is your chapter."
Wow.
And so I've run into that everywhere I go. One more, and I'll shut up.
No,
No,
you're good.
you're
Yeah,
showing.
keep, no, it's
Keep
good.
rolling, brother.
Yeah,
I
keep
was,
going.
This was just a couple weeks ago. My mom works the store. She's working today, so I can be here.
Praise God. Thanks,
And
Mom.
she she was in there, and you know, the street people come in and they take everything for granted, you know, whatever. And somebody made a comment, and she goes, "No," she goes, she said "He's not a slave driver." She said, "He's just a slave to you all." Like that. And so that afternoon, one of my friends, Miss Candace, she runs my other store, her son comes in, and he just started sharing with me, and he goes, "Dale," he goes, "I had a really weird dream the other night, and you were in it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, he's big into PlayStation 2s, right? And God told him to let go of it, so he gave me his PlayStation 2 games. He goes, "So God relayed it to me like in a PlayStation 2 game." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "You were in this warehouse, and it had the most high-tech stuff in it." And he said, there was just stuff coming in, and it'd go down this conveyor belt, and at the bottom was another robot that would take it off, and they were shipping it out, and then more would come in, and just like this, right? And he goes, "I was seeing this." And I said, "Well, it tells me two things. Number one, you're saying that I'm going to have a distribution center with the highest tech stuff possible. And number two, you're probably the one that's going to run all the high-tech stuff, because that's what he does." And he just kind of smiled. And he goes, "Well, God's really been showing me some things lately." I said, "Well, what has he been showing?" He said, "About a seed." And I said, "Well, what about a seed?" He said, "Sometimes it takes, I want you to hear certain words, and I'll point them out. This is the same day." He goes, "Sometimes a seed has to incubate before it will grow." And I'm like, "I agree with that." He goes, "Just like Joseph." He goes, "Joseph had this word, and he went to his parents, and his parents were like, 'Who are we that we should bow down to you?'"
Right.
And then listen, and he goes, he had to be a slave before he was elevated. My mom that morning had just said I was a slave. And so that was just confirmation after confirmation, and sorry to go down a rabbit hole, but
No.
that's exactly where I went with that. So yeah, as you were.
No, I mean,
As you were, get that? As you were.
I like that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just I got like chills up and down my spine when you was talking. And what I was gonna reflect too is at the very end, you know, after Isaac died, you know, and his brothers were scared to death, like, hey, Joseph's gonna turn on us now.
Yeah.
You know, and Joseph's like, you know what you all meant for evil, you know, God is, you know, turning around for such a time as this. And I feel that with you, brother, you know, like all the evil, man, and all the junk that you went through in your time serving God, the ups and the downs and man, the crashes and all that is for such a time as this, man, with you're literally catching a basket for, for the fallen. I mean, I don't know, man, it's just a powerful story, dude, just hearing you talk. And
yeah, and it explains a lot to me, the diversity of your ministry, because when you look at it, you go, you know, you got bookstore, you've got thrift store, you've got music ministry, you've got concerts, you're doing this subculture stage, you know, Christian heavy metal, kind of a different group. And you start looking at this, feeding people coming out of prison and service ministry. You start looking at what do these things have in common, you know? You kind of look and go, man, these are like, I mean, over here, over here, over here. Then when you get done, you see the basket.
Yeah.
You realize that what belongs together is that all these things are avenues. Like it's like going in a roundabout, and you've created a roundabout, given lots of people access to what they need is the hope that you bring yourself. You're bringing Hands Hope is about our mission statement is to be an answer for the hope. 1 Peter 3:15 that's within us. The way you do that, the way I do that, maybe as a church planner, is I'll do this way and present the gospel this way and plant a church, and that's kind of my goal. What God's called you to do is reach this subculture. That subculture takes a lot of paths and a lot of ways to get to, and you've created all kinds of avenues, roundabouts to get people to come together into an incredible thing. I watched at KCF. I watched it is like a incredible diversity of people there. But then I watched all those people coming in there to worship together with you and the team in there, and what a bonding moment to see. People that are, you know, dressed in black, and some that aren't, and some are in colors, and some are in, they got their pool noodles because they're going to mosh pit with the pool noodles, and to see all these different people, and some of them are professionals, and some of them are like laborers, and some of them are young, and some of them are old, and you just had this incredible collection of people that were like one in the spirit.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Welcome to the subculture.
Welcome to the subculture. And
that's what that was my opening statement.
I have to say this though, because when I started going to this, he knows how I promoted this stuff. You know, I'd say it's a really different group of people. You know, but when you look in the basket of the subculture, what I found out, those are my kids and my family and people I love and know. And what we've learned very quickly is the subculture is honestly just us.
Yeah.
Take off our pretense, strip down the Pharisee and the Sadducee robes and all the church stuff, and we're all 30 days from losing our job. Or 30 days from having a bad accident with no insurance to seeking out something that would cause a problem in our life, drugs. We're all 30 days from losing our paycheck and needing help from something. We could all be right there, but there, but by the grace of God, go I. That's right. And you realize I'm them.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're not that far removed. Our arrogance tells us, "Oh, I'm not that. Sure. I'm not those people."
Sure.
But I think you've created a ministry that begins to lift people up and let them begin to believe that God sees them as precious. Yeah. And I think it's pretty powerful. People left KCF, that festival, I mean, as a family, but they came as a group of people. You know, I think you really changed the culture of that whole room. The subculture of that room became a family of its own.
Well, I think people make judgments based on appearances too. You know, when you would first walk into that festival, you're going to make some judgments just based on what you see.
What you see.
But by the end of the day, you're going to realize you're totally wrong. You know, it's one of the best atmospheres that I've ever been in for an entire day for a festival.
Yeah, and we've done our own festival, and we've done our own festivals.
You know, it's like I could leave my purse in our tent and just go walk around and do stuff, and I would know when I came back.
And most of these people, if you see them at Walmart, you lock your car.
Right,
you know, and then you find out that they're not them; they're us.
Well, they are them.
They're
but they're not.
That's family of God.
Them
there
is not. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I just looked to my left, and John Steve, the executive director of the Heron House Hope, and my co-host, is in studio. John, you're in Studio B.
Do I get a sound effect?
Yeah. John's here. I'm going to introduce these guys.
Hey.
John's a regular co-host. He knows. There we go. John Steve right here, Heron House of Hope. And Heron House of Hope is doing a lot of similar stuff. We all ate lunch there today. Soup kitchen, food pantry, thrift store, bike resurrection program, catering, GED program, AmeriCorps program, commodities distribution, and so much more coming. We've got more things happening. So John's here in studio because I just wanted, he had lunch with us today and hosted us. And when I met Dale, I thought, I've got to get Dale, John, and I got to get Pastor Dan. Pastor Dan, I'll give him a better introduction now. Dan's the Take Action Today Director of Programming. Both these guys are pastors on our team here at Community Faith Church. But at Take Action, they are doing ministry based out of West Frankfort, but you're in all these counties too, right?
Yes, absolutely. We do work in Jefferson County.
Do you get up to him?
Yeah, we're in Jefferson
You're
County.
all the way up in Jefferson County?
Oh, yeah.
That's why you understand MTV.
Yep.
I didn't. We thought it was a music channel. TakeActionToday.net. Go check that out. Facebook.com. They're there on there. They're doing recovery-based stuff. They're doing peer recovery support, recovery resource center. How many centers do you got?
6.
6. And they're located all around?
Yes.
Are you doing the showers and the warming centers and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
4 of our resource centers have fully operational showers, kitchens, and clothing.
Did we
distribution.
send stuff to you this winter?
At our Benton? Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Already interaction. They're
already connected.
working with the drug courts, working with recovery education, reentry programs, community mental health, substance abuse, safe passage program, Narcan Illinois DOP initiative, Southern Illinois Recovery Network, recovery housing, coalition building. We're already Heron House of Hope, Hands of Hope, Take Action. We're already partnering to do some work with our future GAP clinic that we're going to be doing here in the building you saw today. And we hope down the road to have this free clinic and be able to offer both clinical medical services and behavioral health care evaluation. And we're going to be doing stuff with Centerstone to kind of help with follow-up care and stuff like that. So there's already a partnership forming amongst us. And I just knew when we met that I had to get, I mean, we're already working together, that there was just something we could do in Southern Illinois, even broader band. Yeah. And I had no idea we'd get Steve here out of Vienna.
I was getting ready to say, let's let Steve talk. Cause
Yeah.
we've
Steve, what are you doing? Tell us.
We've planted quite a vision in him, and I probably had no idea he was going to go this route. And now he's as far out there as I am.
What are you guys doing that direction down your way? And I just want to introduce these guys, and they're here, and they've got great ministries here. So I appreciate them coming in today and being co-host with me on the show.
Well, we started a church in Vienna, and we decided to take church outside of the building, get out of the big box religion, as I call it, because, as you said earlier, you can leave your purse at the music fest, and you didn't have to worry about it. Well, that helps. I'm getting closer.
No, you're good. You're doing good.
Okay. So when God started dealing with us about starting this ministry, it was, I need you to think outside the box. I need you to reach those that nobody else would. And I found in our year and a half we've been there, God has opened our eyes so much to different things, to where, you know, we have people who are in our church who have tattoos, people who are from prison, people who have been coke dealers, who've been alcoholics, and we've had all kinds of things. And God has just come through, and He's breaking the walls, and He's opening up doors for a ministry. And one part of it is, you know, Dale has pushed this subculture. He's pushed this, and we've grabbed a hold of this because, you know, we believe that, you know, He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. But He also wants to reach everybody that He can. And so we're building relationships no matter where they are, no matter what they look like. Amen. It doesn't matter what side of the tracks they live on. It doesn't matter what they drive. We're there to reach them and to build that relationship. Because if we build a relationship with them, then we can get them to build a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
There you go.
And so we're reaching out in our community. We're doing the clothing drive. We're a small church, and we went and we passed out dinner in a bag. You wouldn't think that's a much, but spaghetti, noodles, and brownie mix, and you hand those bags to people, and we take our kids, and you see the people stand there, and they got tears in their eyes, and the opportunity to be able to pray with them, be able to open our hearts and share the love of Jesus. And we did a clothing drive this last weekend, and seeing the people said, well, what do we need to pay you? Don't you worry about it. It's all free. Wow. And people don't realize, you know, that so far in the past they've looked at the church and they've said, hey, they're different than me, and now we're taking it to them. And that's where we believe in the subculture. We believe in reaching out and just giving everything we can to them, and seeing what God is going to do.
Wow. Taking the church to them. I think I saw this picture on, I think it's your Facebook page, but I guess it could be on yours too. I thought this was this. I had to think about this for a while. I mean, because I do this. I do this in
That's
Africa.
awesome.
I do this in Africa. I do this in Thailand. We start our churches in brothels, in strip clubs in Thailand, don't we, Beth?
Yeah.
Right in them.
And in the communities.
Oh man.
What are the communities called? I'm just wrong.
The slums.
The slums.
The slums
yeah.
of Thailand. Just like that. I mean, just like that. No flex, no banners, no advertising, no media booth, no television. We got maybe some of the bongo drum, and they're playing, and that's it.
We had
But best church.
A lady called us one night. Her brother and sister-in-law was tripping on meth and wanted us to come out at 11:30 at night. We stood on the side of a highway, just like that picture is, in the rain, praying and ministering to these people, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I cut my teeth going to the streets of New Orleans, different places in the world with No Greater Love Ministries, doing street ministry.
Yeah.
So
That's
mean,
awesome.
Yeah, and that street church ministry works in Thailand, works in Liberia,
Yep.
works in the backside of West Frankfurt, can work in Mount Vernon, can work a lot of places. People here don't think, well, that's not really a church. I got news for you. Sometimes that's the better church.
That's
So
church.
I will,
That's the church.
Oh yeah.
we were in San Angelo, Texas, one of my favorite venues in the country. It's a bar, and there are a lot of bikers that come, and I share it at dinner. We started in a motor home, and we would at our shows we'd have people bring canned goods and sleeping bags and hygiene products to our shows. So you'll go to a bar and there's these people bringing stuff to your table, right? So the floor was packed, and I started sharing a testimony of a lady, and the lady was in the median, and she had a cane. She was probably 85, holding a sign. And so I pull the motorhome into the parking lot to the side, and I go out to talk to her, and said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She's just trying to, get some money or whatever, right? And so I gave her, I don't know, whatever we had, and I'm like, "Can I give you a hug?" And I just hugged this lady, right? And she started bawling.
Yeah.
And whenever there was 3 lanes of traffic. There were turning lane and 2 lanes going this way, right? And this lady was like waving the sign, and everybody just driving past her. So I ran through traffic to get to her. So I'm hugging this lady, and I turn around, and the traffic light was red, and every eye was on the median.
Mm.
And the light turned green, and I started to walk, and every car stopped and let me walk in front of them.
That's cool.
And then as they went by, every car started stopping at this lady. And I'm sharing this testimony in a biker bar. And a dude with the handlebars and the ponytail has a mug of beer, and he, "Take us to church."
I like that.
That's what he
Biker
said.
church.
"Take us to church."
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your church looks like.
No.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've started some of our best work in places easily like that.
Yeah.
I was at a place preaching like that at a brand new church in Gopai when my mom passed. I left here knowing my mom would probably pass, and my mom wanted me to go, and I was preaching to a church like that that's now been in their 4th or 5th year, I guess 6th year now. And I love the fact that my mom knew where I was going, and she knew I was going to people that needed it. And she saw that as valuable enough that we could be separated over it. There's people out there worth giving our lives to, going out and reaching. And you know what? That's some of the best church you can have. Mm-hmm. So
Yes,
it's
it is.
special. Hey, I want to do this. We're closing this episode. We're going to be in episode 3 in a minute. So I want to bring this slide up. I love this slide of you on the stage at KCF. I've been saving it. I want you, the Lord got a hold of you. The Lord's brought you here. And I think we've talked about this. You're at this intersection where a lot of things are starting to pour into you, and God's going to start revealing a lot of this to you. But I want you to take a moment. If somebody's out there and they're feeling hopeless, lost, dischurched, disjuncted, I want you, when I heard you on the stage a couple times, I heard you exhort people. Could you just wrap up this episode, if you would, give your exhortation? If you were in festival mode and you're talking to that person out there that thinks there's nothing for them, they don't need me, they don't want me, I'm going around the drain. Can you reach out to them? Do your best here for a second here.
Sure. I would say that, I've been in your shoes.
Amen.
I felt worthless. I felt abandoned. And I'm with you.
Wow.
I'm no different than you. No different than you. I don't care what you're struggling with. I've probably been there. I remember many times telling my mom if I was an alcoholic, I'd be blitzed out of my mind just so I didn't have to deal with the things I was dealing with. So I would say to you that there is a God that does love you. And I'm not telling you to look at everybody else, but you can look at me. I love you just the way you are. I think you're beautiful. You're wonderfully made. God did not make a mistake. He knew you were going to be where you are. And he didn't put you there for no reason. He's going to bring you out stronger and more amazing than you could ever dream. Just got to keep going.
That's right.
You got to keep going.
It's a good word. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. We're gonna let that sit, and we're gonna go really into part 3 here in a minute. I'm gonna jump us out of this show, and we're gonna come back, and all of what God's put you through, I think, are for the next moves. And in part 3, we're gonna talk about those challenges ahead of you, and the next moves. And then if things go well, we're gonna try to parlay that into a roundtable discussion in part 4. And we got 4 people here that are very averse to the Southern Illinois subculture. We've got more experience in this room in subculture right now than you could shake a stick at. John, we've had shows on Take Action. Dan's shows on there. You can find his show in season 2, especially show 4, 5, and 6 of Take Action Today, or his shows 1, 2, and 3 are all about the ministry with Mike. John, you were the season finale of season 2, right? The Amazing House of Hope. So you can go see his 3 episodes. Was it 3 episodes we did on you? We did that. So check that out. And then you've got these guys. We're going to be doing several episodes on these guys. And go watch those. And these are examples of the fact that God can take, I mean, he's taken, Dan's story is amazing. You hadn't heard his yet. John, you heard at lunch. It's amazing how God takes people that you would have thought there's just no way. And now God's using them to open the way for a lot of other people just like them. Just as I am, as we are. Yep. That's a pretty good name now. I understand your name now to your band better. Yeah. I have thought for hours and hours, I don't get it. I completely get it now. Yep. Just as I am. Even when they wrote that OM, Just As I Am, with that one plea, they were not thinking of that music. But every time I hear it in the future, I'll think of your music and what you're doing. It's very cool. Very cool. We're going to wrap up this episode. We're going to come back and we're going to get deeper in that. onthedoc.org. Find out more about it. info@onthedoc.org is the email to find out more. We'll put descriptions in the show links so you can find these ministries, not just their ministry, but if we can, Donna, we'll put a link in for the houseofhope.org and also for Take Action Today. These and High Point Ministries. I think I saw there is a Facebook page, or yes. Okay, we'll try to do that too. And I want you to see what this group's doing and get supportive of them wherever they are. If you got thrift in the area, get it up there to what they're doing up there. We told you how to do that. You can take donations up there. Let me say that place one more time again. It's at 323 South 11th Street, Mount Vernon, Illinois. Reach out to them at the subculturemtv.org to get information. There's a phone number posted, 618-316-2816. You can check out their webpage or their Facebook page. If you can always just make a donation, here's the link right here on the screen. It's up there for you to do, or you can find that link also on their donate page at their website. Go check that out. All these organizations are good, and they can also use your man hours, your personal time. He's got ways in which you can volunteer to serve regularly in their shops, both your stores, right? Mm-hmm. And also on events. If you want to go do an event, you want to ride, you get to go with Steve. Steve will be your personal bodyguard. He will help you. He'll defend you. You'll be very.
I got to get Steve to go to an event.
Yeah, we'll get Steve out. We'll get Steve out there, but Steve's busy. Steve's doing stuff, you know. So go check that out. All those things. Read more about that. Keep watching our show, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Tell other people about it. Share this show out with your family and friends. Find out where As We Are playing. Check their site out at Facebook. Go where they're playing. You want to hear their music. Download their music at Spotify and iTunes as well. Check out our other channels. Go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and Getter, our social media sites, and also share this show out. We'd love to hear some feedback on their music. Do you want to go to KCF with us next year? You could be around our tent. Reach out to us and tell us that. We'll tell you that we're already going next year, so come be a part of that.
Why do you keep looking at her?
Because
Oh, the camera.
yeah, you just figured out why I'm looking at her. That's my camera. Yeah. But also, you know, you never know. Subscribe, hit like. She's also telling me my episode's long, so land the plane. Subscribe, hit like, notify, tell other people about it. Go to Patreon, check us out. 4 ways to sponsor. Our partner, 3 ways to sponsor. And go to our partner, slnt.com. Check out their products and reclaim your right to disconnect. slnt.com, promo code OTD. We also have our landing page there, and we'll run our ad at the end of this show. If you don't have a church home, we'd love to have you come out to Community Faith Church. COFTV.com will give you the information. 10 o'clock Sundays, 6:30 on Wednesdays. Check out this church, or if you're in the Mount Vernon area, reach out to the Subculture. They'll give you references to churches up in that region as well. You can also check out High Point Ministries in Vienna, Illinois. They would love to have you as a part of their church family. They have room for you, just a little bit of room. Come there, especially if you can bring something to expand their space. They would love to have you.
Oh, yes.
Come be a part of their ministry there. I'm Pastor Troy with Mother Beth, my co-host today, Dan Pyles. Dan, thank you. We're not done. We're just getting started. And John Steve in Studio B. First time ever Studio B on the show. Thank you to those that helped make this possible. I'm Pastor Troy as we get out. Mother Beth, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, you did good. You did good in Studio B. I'm Pastor Troy. We're getting ready to go off the dock. As we go off the dock and you get out there into the deep, please check out our little promo that we're going to do from SLNT. I'm frantically looking to find it. I'm Pastor Troy. Been glad to have you here. We'll see you soon. Check out season 1 and 2. Go back and watch the previous episodes from this season, and don't miss our next one as we get ready to find out what's next. What's next for the subculture? You're going to find out you're part of that subculture. There's no them. You're them. We're them. We're the Jesus people. And Jesus was raised. I mean, Jesus was a subculture kind of guy, wasn't he?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Get out there and check out our episodes. We'll see you soon. I'm Pastor Troy. Check this out from slnt.com.
There are more than 8 billion phones in the world, a fact that threatens your privacy, security, and health. With Silent Pocket Faraday protection, you can regain control over your mobile devices. We get it. Privacy and security are inconvenient topics, and you may feel like you have nothing to hide, but the fact is that in the modern world, your laptop is never really off. Your phone emits a signal, even in airplane mode. And everything from your passport to your credit cards contains RFID, and all of it contains valuable private information that is easily exploited in the wrong hands. Silent Pocket offers a range of products you already use: wallets, bags, travel gear, laptop sleeves, key cases, but with the added protection of our patented Faraday technology, which turns your devices invisible and safe from the outside world. Many industries, from top business professionals to government officials, require the use of Faraday products for the day-to-day security of them and their staff. They understand that we are constantly at risk and take the necessary steps to prevent future attacks. We offer this elite technology to anyone that values their personal data, and we are proud to offer a premium range that fits seamlessly into your everyday life, providing security without looking like a tinfoil hat. As we learn to live with technology, Silent Pocket stands on the 3 pillars of privacy, security, and health. Our goal is to provide harmony with mobile technology without risking our most valuable information. We hope you'll trust us to help you do the same.